Welcome back to Money School. My name is Kris Krohn, and today I want to share with you the #1 strategy for building a real estate wealth portfolio. In other words, if you want to accumulate real estate and become a multimillionaire, what is the #1 strategy for doing it? Today, I'm going to answer that question.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
All right, so we're here to talk about what you should have learned in financial school, if there was such a thing that people attended, right? I mean, did junior high or high school or home life or even college life for that matter teach you about how to build a real estate wealth portfolio? I never had that experience. Maybe you did, probably not. So today I want to talk about not just building a real estate portfolio, but doing it with the #1 strategy, everything that you should have learned so that you can start implementing it now in your life. So what is a real estate portfolio? Well, portfolio means several of the same things.
Same, but different. But still same.
And in real estate, that usually means that you have a lot of homes or a lot of apartment complexes. It means that you've got several types of dwellings that are basically considered one major business. That's what a real estate portfolio is. And think about it for just a moment. The Rockefellers, how much real estate did they own? Donald Trump.
I'm the best thing that ever happened to you, baby.
Who's a billionaire in real estate many times over. You think of some of the other people who have made tons of money in the game of real estate, and they didn't own a property. They didn't own a skyscraper. They owned a portfolio, a collection of properties. So let's just start with then, what is the #1 strategy for building a successful portfolio or collection of homes in real estate? Years ago, I wrote a book called The Strait Path to Real Estate Wealth. And it basically talks about all of the steps of how you build a real estate portfolio. And I basically make a claim that I prove in this book that there's a single best way to make money in real estate. And you know what? Today's video is a shortcut for you, because what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to tell you that so that we can focus our time on how you build that portfolio. Essentially, it's purchasing entry-level, single-family homes in the best markets below the median with a short-term buy and hold strategy for 5 years. Now, by the way, what a whopping sentence, and it's totally power-packed. And in this video, I'm going to break it down and I'm going to prove to you the single best strategy for building a real estate wealth portfolio. So before I share the 4 elements of the #1 strategy for building a real estate portfolio, let me kind of tell you a little bit my process that I used to discover it. You see, when I was in college, I got really curious about wealth building in the game of real estate, and I had 3 different mentors. And I went to each one of them and I asked, what's the best strategy for creating wealth in real estate? And one of them said, well, it could be sky rises, or it could be apartment buildings, or it could be multifamily. Another one said, oh, it's seller financing. It's creative real estate where you're not putting money up. It could be big projects or small projects. The third one said, I don't know, it's just kind of, whatever you're dealing with. And I thought to myself, so you guys all know how to make money in real estate using all these strategies, but there's gotta be a best strategy, right? And they said, Kris, that's not fair. That's very subjective. It comes down to what you value. And so I had to pause and ask myself, what's important to me in selecting a strategy? Let me tell you what I came up with. The #1 strategy would have to be the most profitable, duh. But I also didn't want it to suck my time. So I wanted it to require the least time. And then I thought, do I want it to be hard or easy? I want it to be the least effort. And then I thought, do I want it to be super risky or less risky? And I thought, less risky. With those 4 points alone, least time, least effort, least risk, but make the most money, sounds pretty good. And then I added to it 2 more things. I said, I also want a strategy that will work in up markets and down markets, so I don't make money when the market goes up and take a bath when it goes down. And lastly, I need a strategy that creates value for people. I don't want it to be a selfish strategy that benefits me but takes from someone else. I want it to benefit everybody. Those 6 criteria became my basis for this book. And I compared the top known 30 strategies in all of real estate. And after comparing them to each other, I came up with that strategy I just shared with you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break it down for you, because that's the strategy that I use to become financially free in less than 5 years. I used it as my thesis, as my test and philosophy for the next 25 homes that I bought at the beginning of my journey. And those homes created a 6-figure residual income. That portfolio set me free. That portfolio got me out of my job. That portfolio changed everything for me. That's why today's video is really important. So with that, let me share the 4 elements of this strategy. So let's talk about the first element, purchasing entry-level single-family homes. Now, wait a second, Kris, why not condos? Why not townhomes? Why not a commercial building? Why not multifamily? Why single family? Well, I'm assuming that you're a new investor. And if you're a new investor, isn't it nice to get your feet wet a little bit before you try to take down some multi-million-dollar, huge, crazy project? Well, on top of that, single family is the most desirable real estate that people will ever want. This is the American dream, or at least used to be. It's an important part of what people consider stability, what people consider home. 3 to 4 bedroom, 1 to 2 bathroom homes in the most desirable neighborhoods. This is the stuff that American dreams are made of. America! It is the most desirable real estate. And for that matter, I want to buy real estate that has the largest appeal to the largest population because it will be the easiest to rent. It will be the easiest to hold. In the beginning, it's best for your portfolio. Number 2, we got to buy real estate below the median. Well, Kris, that's a funny term. What do you really mean by that? Well, in the area that you live, your median, or we'll just call it the average price of real estate in your area, differs. Like you can imagine what the average price of real estate is in Boston or New York or San Diego. It's going to be really high. But maybe there are places in the Midwest like Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it's really, really low. Well, I track the national median, and I like to track the median in an area, and I like to buy below that average. Why? Because wherever you live, if you want to appeal to the most people in your area to rent or buy that home, if that largest number is going to be found not at the median, not above, but actually below. It's like a really warped bell curve. Like the number of people that can do $1 million house is a very small percentage. But at the median, you're going to have a ton of people that want to buy real estate, and slightly below is where you're going to have your biggest chunk of population that say, wow, that house is appealing. The national median, for example, this last year, adjusted close to around $300,000. Guess what my average purchase price is in the very best markets that I buy in? Well, somewhere between $200,000 and $230,000. Because I buy below the median, they're the fastest homes to rent and they're the fastest homes to sell. What does it mean to purchase below the median? It's owning the most desirable real estate with the greatest demand that experiences the most significant growth. Single-family homes below the median are also the most resilient. It means that when the market goes hog wild, you're going to see that home go up in value, but you see that $1 million home when the market crashes is going to come crashing down. That home below the median, that's going to course correct more gently, which means that you're going to be safer in any type of correction of the market. Now listen, no matter where you live, you can buy real estate successfully. But you do need to be aware that some markets are better than others and other markets are worse than others. I happened to be in Utah when I built my original portfolio. That was a great market to start in. There are some people that live in really expensive markets that think that that must be harder or more challenging. But the truth is, if you could have bought in LA or New York or some major metropolis before the real estate boomed, wouldn't that have been really cool? Like a little Back to the Future Biff moment with the almanac, and bought really expensive real estate really cheap right before it went up in value? Well, guess what? There are 5 markets in the country right now that are in the process of going through their boom. And if you knew where they were, you could get your hands on the best real estate. Which is why the third criteria is called purchasing not in below average markets or average markets, but it's buying real estate in the very best markets. And that will likely mean out of state. Check it out. Owning rentals in the top performing out-of-state markets earns around the same double-digit ROI as local lease options, but the national strategy is a more passive choice. For example, in this book that I wrote, The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth, I say, hey, in your backyard, do lease options specifically, or it's renting a home with an option for someone to purchase it. But if you're gonna do it on a national scale, you can just do a straight rental, and that's gonna perform and give you the same amazing double-digit ROI. Basically, you can do real estate in your backyard, do a lease option. You can do real estate with me in one of the top amazing markets. I'll take you there. You don't ever have to actually get on a plane and go there, and you can earn the most ridiculous high-end ROIs. You know, the first 25 homes that I bought were right there in my backyard. I did this lease option strategy, and it worked like a charm. I had great mentors and people to really show me the ropes, kind of like I do for a lot of people these days if you check out the links below my videos. But I remember when I went out of state for the very first time, I was scared and I was nervous. But you know what? I found way greater safety and way greater wealth when I actually left the state that I lived in to go buy in real estate. And you know how many times I've ever been on a plane on the thousands of homes that I bought out of state? I think 2 times, and it was really just for fun, and it was really just to shoot some videos. The reality is you can do real estate in your backyard, but you can also do it distance as long as you have the right team. And team really is the difference. I mean, when you get into real estate, you need a mentor. You need someone to show you the ropes. Don't go in blind or just because you had read a book. Connect with someone that knows exactly what they're doing. They can show you the contracts, the right scripts, the things to say, the things not to say, how to overcome objections, and you can find yourself building a very successful portfolio of real estate. The fourth and final element of the #1 strategy for you to build a very successful real estate portfolio is I recommend utilizing a short-term buy and hold strategy. Short-term is going to be defined here as 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. And here's why. The highest profitability on a single family home occurs in the first 5 years or so that you hold on to it before your ROI starts to diminish. Years ago, I went to Israel and it was interesting. It was like a dry, barren desert, but wherever there was water, there was life. You would see green stuff. And I think that real estate is a little bit like a flowing river. If it's flowing and moving, there's life. And what I like to do every 5 years is sell off my portfolio of homes. And then I've made enough money that I can go into the market and double my portfolio by buying twice as much. Because twice the portfolio usually means twice the cash flow, twice the tax benefits, twice the appreciation. Think about it. If one home this year goes up $20,000 in value, then what would have happened if you had 2? Well, this one could have gone up 20,000 and this one went up 20,000. 2 is better than 1. Twice the cash flow, twice. So building a portfolio means to multiply your portfolio and it means to make it bigger. All specialize in single family homes in the best markets, hold them for 5 years, sell them off, double the portfolio and get double the gains. And 5 years later, I'm going to do it again. Let me ask you, are you ready to start your journey into building a portfolio or taking your existing portfolio to another level? I referenced this book that I wrote, The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth. This was the instruction manual on how I made my first $1.6 million in real estate in 4.5 years. It's 5 steps that if you follow, you will buy a house successfully and then you rinse and repeat to get the second house, the third house, the 5th house, the 25th house. And after you bought enough homes, you may not need that job anymore. I actually invested in real estate in the beginning because I didn't want to have a job. I put 25 homes to work day and night to produce enough residual income that I didn't have to have a job. And if you'd like to have that same benefit, you can click the link below. And today, this is a gift for me to you. You can get this book for free at no cost. I do ask that you cover the shipping and handling, but the book itself and all of the knowledge that has created many a millionaire and very successful investors is yours for free. Click the link, get your copy. Okay, Kris, maybe a portfolio of real estate can help you become financially free, but can it make you rich? Well, check out this video right here. I'm in the Maldives and I'm reflecting on the exact steps of how I've leveraged real estate to build my own empire and how you can too. The #1 strategy for building a real estate portfolio. Is it going to be